So, do you think that it's logical to assume that a god exists? Because I don't think that's logical at all to assume that just because the universe had a start, didn't you don't think the universe? Because you think God created the universe, right? That's what you think.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay,
Yes,
so
that's right.
do you think that God always was?
I
So
I
then,
do
why
believe.
can't the universe always?
Yes.
Why can't the universe have always been here?
Because the evidence
Yeah,
shows
because
the
the
complete opposite.
universe. Yeah. So the universe, for the universe to always be here, would entail that it existed at every moment in time. For God to be eternal, it would only mean that he's atemporal, meaning not spatio-temporal. So that's why the universe could not be have existed forever, and God can, because the universe, at any moment in which it exists, is necessarily spatio-temporal.
Why can't a
Caesar?
spatio-temporal thing always
Do you?
exist? Right? Because it seems like you just say that, oh, it needs to have traversed an infinite, right? But there's two horns of that dilemma, right? If you say, for example, you have an
There is
infinite.
no two horns of that dilemma, right?
No, there is, right?
There's no
Because
horn.
because
No, there isn't. There's no
if you
horn.
look, if you
Right?
take
I
if
try.
if you take like the sniper example, right, where a sniper has to take a shot, but in order to take the shot, he needs to ask permission from his superior. But that superior has to ask permission from that superior, and that superior has to ask permission from that superior ad infinitum. And the question is, will the sniper ever take the shot, right? Now, there's two horns to this dilemma, right? It's if this infinite series has a beginning, right, and you start from the sniper asking permission and then asking permission, asking permission, asking permission, will the sniper ever take the
Hey,
shot? It's clear that he won't take the shot, right? But if you
logical
have.
fallacy.
What? What's the fallacy?
You said, yeah, it's a logical fallacy. You said infinite amount of requests, and then you said had a beginning. That is literally a contradiction. Infinity does not have a beginning, and it does not have an end.
No,
So it's
wait, no,
not really
that's not
infinite.
true. Wait, that's not true.
Yes.
No, 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 that's not. Wait, that no, sorry,
Imagine it.
that's not true. Right, you can have an infinite amount of positive integers, but that has a beginning, right? The beginning is zero. It doesn't have an end. And you can have an infinite amount of negative integers. That has an end. It ends at zero, but it doesn't have a beginning. So, like, an infinite can, if you take the sum of positive and negative integers, that doesn't have a beginning nor an end. But just saying that something is infinite doesn't necessarily imply that it.
You're talking about a conceptual infinity versus an actual infinity.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah, so
I think it's. But
conceptually between two numbers, there's an infinity because you can divide the points
I said
of that number
integers.
and keep dividing it and keep dividing it and keep
Yeah.
dividing it. Uh, yeah, so it's that's a conceptual infinity. It's not an actual infinity. It's not something that
Mm-hmm.
exists actually in
Yeah.
the world.
Well, I think both conceptual and an actual infinity can exist. I see no problem there. But I'll try and get back to the sniper example, and I'll try and explain why I think there's maybe some confusion here. So, if you say that the sniper has to begin starting to ask for permission, right? Because the line of permissions is infinite, right? Well, it's conceivable that he's just never going to take the shot, right? Because he's for each permission granted, there's going to be another permission, right? So you're never going to traverse that infinite, as CC said, right? But if you can imagine a sniper waiting for an infinite line of permissions, it's conceivable that he will take the shot, right? Because if you can imagine an infinite row of permissions being granted, and the sniper is simply waiting for the shot to be taken, and then the dominoes fall, and then he takes the shot. And for each permission, for him to take the shot, he would have needed the permission, the previous commander to have been granted permission. And if you go back down the line, all of the previous commanders will have got permission. So it's conceivable that he takes the shot.
Are the permissions done consecutively?
Sorry?
Are the permissions done consecutively or all at one time?
Consecutively.
Well,
Then it would never happen.
This
Why?
is
Wait,
an
but why
argument
would it-
against past infinitude.
Why would
you
it?
be arguing
Wait, why would
against
it not?
past infinitude?
But yeah, I think the past can be infinite. Why can't it be?
Because your very argument shows that it can't.
What's the contradiction?
Well, first of all, you don't have to have a logical contradiction for something to not exist.
Oh, that's
So what
sure,
you're
but
giving is an example.
wait, just
What you're giving
sorry.
is
Can
an
I just
example of
jump in
a
really
causal
quickly?
chain.
But look, when you say something is impossible, I'm taking that as logically impossible, meaning that it entails a contradiction. So when you say that the past can't be infinite, I assume that if the past were to be infinite, and we grant that, that entails some sort of contradiction. So I'm asking, like, what's the contradiction?
Well, it would be probably a metaphysical impossibility, not necessarily logical possibility. But
Okay.
the thing is, so what the thing is, what the argument you're giving is what's given against an infinite amount of for a causal chain. So it would negate having an infinite amount of causal links to get to the point where we're at now. It's an argument that's used against an infinite universe.
I have heard the argument of the sniper being used to argue for the finitude of the past. I've also heard of like the Grim Reaper paradox and things like that, but I think there are ways of solving these paradoxes and solving these examples in a way that seems perfectly reasonable to me and avoids any contradiction. So to me, the universe being past eternal seems feasible to me. It seems weird to wrap your head around, and I can understand why people say, "Oh, the universe can't be infinite. It, needs an infinite amount of time, and you can't have that." I can understand the reasoning, but I just not convinced that it's true. I think the universe can be past eternal.
Well, you know that did you know that the universe is expanding?
Yes.
Did you know that
Yeah,
the universe
so-
that is expanding is accelerating in speed at which it is expanding?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I feel before we go on to this, which is also interesting, you're talking more about some sort of like scientific impossibility, right? Because, I mean, it's impossible for me to climb on the walls like Spider-Man, but that's not logically impossible. So when I say that the universe can be past eternal, because I'm not a scientist or anything like that, I just mean logically, like it's logically possible. So now you're bringing in science, right? Which is a different field it's a different modality. So, but there is a theory that the universe has there's a past infinite amount of big bangs and big crunches.